What a go. I'll park the car at the
What
front.
a podcast. Go on the BYD.
Yeah, nice.
I didn't know that.
Our man Joel Sandy sorting us out.
Yeah.
I emailed him the other day. Got another
did-
customer on the line with the BYD.
Saw him over there at the BYD. You know, BYD make the batteries for Teslas and stuff. Like, they just started as a battery company and realized, oh, it's easy to make a car. Let's
Hang on
make
a
a
minute.
car.
How hard is it to put the rest
Just,
of it together?
just for a laugh, and they made cars.
Just for a laugh.
There you go. Scully,
What'd
not
you go for?
the Seal.
Yeah, nice.
The Seal's nice.
It's a beautiful looking motor vehicle.
Do you know what? I went there and when I was, Joel said, "Oh, mate, 3 West Coast players have just picked up Seals in the last couple of weeks," and I thought, sold.
done.
If I can drive the same car as Tom Cole, I'm in.
Yeah.
So well done to me for getting a Novoted lease. Scully not here because there is a concert in town. His favourite.
Yep, Pink. He is commentating live from the Pink concert this afternoon.
Optus Stadium, and I think Jaiden, if you give me a thumbs up, if he is there. Is Scully here, Jaiden? Give a thumbs up or not? Yes, he
Scully's
is.
here.
Will Schofield, can you hear us?
Fucking oath I can. What's going on over there?
I
Are you
can't
blokes
see
sorting
it.
this out?
Hey, look at you all suited up, looking nice. How are you?
I'm bloody brilliant. I'm out the front of Optus. I thought I better not go in and get in the elevator and fuck up our reception. But can you hear me? Can you see me?
Mate,
How
I
are
can
we
hear you
going?
and I can see you going great. First question: I'm coming to the Pink concert later on tonight. Is it cold?
Look, there's a lot of Pink fans around. It's actually quite fresh. Got to be honest.
Okay, good. I've got 2 jackets. That's nice.
Are you out in the ground?
Yeah.
Hammer?
Yeah, I'll be out in the ground. I'll be playing. I'll be kicking the footy around.
I'm not out in the ground. That is not where I'm at. And there's not many people here. I mean, what time's this game start? 6:30. Very
2
early
hours
start for Fox Footy. They kind of, they get a bit antsy. Like, as a player, you used to have to get here at an hour and a half before. As a fucking commentator, genuinely just talking shit. I'm here 2 hours before. Why? Like, what am I doing?
That's a great question.
I don't know. What are you doing? You're not in there yet. I assume you probably got very important meetings and you're going to talk to a coach. Maybe get Jared Schofield on the chat before the game. Any plans on who you're going to talk to at the moment?
The great secret about doing this commentary stuff is to make sure everything you do is to look important. Like walk around, like walking in, walking through gates, like very important here. Like, excuse me, like need to go over here. Because you don't want to get caught up talking to people. Like I love our audience. I love talking to people in that regard. But actually talking to people, not my favourite thing. Like, I don't want to get caught up chatting. I just want to go and get in a room and shut the door and have me party pies.
How good are the party pies?
They're
so
one
good.
Of the great, one of the great things to look forward to. Don't you reckon, Hammer?
Yeah,
like the party pies. Not a fan of the sausage rolls. Gotta be honest, very dry.
Yeah, and the party pies are stinking hot in the middle. Now, Scully, question: I have done boundary a couple of times where I'm sitting out there and watching the game, and I sit next to people who are for other stations with binoculars, with all the notes there, and I'm just rolling out, just sitting there watching the game of footy and check back in if anything happens. How much prep are you doing for this? Do you roll in just off the cuff, or?
Look, let's just hope there's no one from Fox Footy
no one at
listening,
Fox Footy's watching.
Because I couldn't be more in your genre. I roll in here. Like, look. Hand, and the other hand's holding my phone. No notes. No laptop. I pretend there's notes on my phone sometimes. Like, I'll pull it out as if I'm looking at something. I'm pretty much just looking at my dream team score.
Yeah.
Look, I had a discussion about this today, and there's lots of different methods, right? The Adam Papalia method says study for 5 days for the Gold Coast West Coast matchup. Know the parents' names of the players, know everything about them. Or there's the, Hamish Brayshaw method, which is just call it as you see it. And I definitely lean into that. And look, yes, there's weaknesses to that, but there's also strengths. Like, I think sometimes over-prepared commentary is obvious and you sound stupid. Like, you look stupid, you sound stupid. We've got lots. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's Nick Nananui. Look at him. Shut your window, mate. Shut your window. What? Oi, put it down. Put it down. Who gave you that car? It's not paid for. I know that for sure.
Was it Paywise? Just say that he said Paywise. Just say that he said Paywise.
So, I do no preparation, and I try to call it as I see it.
Yeah, nice.
And that's how I like doing it. And some people hate it, but that's okay. I like doing it this way.
I prefer that.
Harry Edwards driving past.
Than the person that says like, oh, and that's his 450th possession of his career. Like way too many stats. Don't give us that. We don't need it. Just tell us what you're seeing. West Coast v Gold Coast. I'm saying this probably is the last opportunity for the West Coast Eagles to win a game for the rest of the season. What
for their lives.
what do you think? Because we've got the Kangaroos in a couple of weeks, but that's in Hobart. We ain't winning that.
And North are sizzling. I said the other week that they're my favourite team in the comp.
Absolutely. So what's going to happen tonight, Scott? You're there already. What's the feeling?
Somehow it's an intriguing matchup. Like somehow against the Gold Coast Suns on a Friday night at 6:30 because the AFL doesn't want the NRL to have a game in Perth by themselves. We have an intriguing matchup. How do I reckon it's going to go? Fuck. I think I pick West Coast on the Shelter Footy Cast. I'm varying between Gold Coast, West Coast. I haven't seen Gold Coast live, so I don't really know how good they are. All I see them is Metricon. They're like the fucking Harlem
People's first, or
Globetrotters.
People's choice, or what is it? People's first.
Yeah, look,
People's
I'm
first
not
choice.
buying in.
As opposed to
I'm not buying into the People's Choice kind of
People's
thing. I know
first
that's
choice,
the naming
and
right.
their second choice is
I'm-
Optus.
I'm rolling into Metricon. Look, I haven't bought right into the People's First. And then you got West Coast. Like, gee, they should be good. Duggan, McGovern, all the crew gang back together. No Barrass, maybe ever. But he's not playing this weekend. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Interesting one on the commentary before I finish on the Fox Footy stuff. I am calling tonight by myself. So
Specials by
Adam-
yourself.
Adam Papalea, well, no, the whole thing. So Adam Papalea is in Sydney calling the Olympics.
Okay.
Matthew Pavlich is in Paris calling the Olympics. So I'm in a studio by myself. Cam Mooney and Dwayne Russell are in Melbourne. So it's going to be really strange. I'm going to be standing there in a room by myself. Like,
Are you doing
literally talking to myself.
play-by-play or specials?
No, fuck no.
Christ
I'm not
almighty.
crazy. No, special comments, but still like,
Yeah, just
it'll
talking
be
to yourself.
it'll be like doing a podcast from your couch with like four mates, but they're in other houses. It's just weird.
So you got the suit and buttons on just to get on in front of the camera on the ground. But then when you're up in the box, are you just stripping down? You just sitting there in your underwear by yourself?
Yeah. What undies are you wearing?
At what point of that question did you realise it was a dumb one, Dan? Because what am I stripping down to?
What underwear have you got on at the moment? I'm wearing.
I reckon he's got Friday
hang
on.
on.
I think he's got the Friday.
No, I got the Kelvins.
Calvin's. Oh, hello. Look at you. Fox Footy paying well.
Fox Footy.
Shit. I've got the bonds
Who
from.
have you got?
I've just got the bonds from Target. These ones are.
It's Jeremy McGovern. Jeremy McGovern. and
Oh,
his
that's a
beautiful
Tesla
partner,
sponsored by
Maddie.
Paywise.
It's BackChat. Live on BackChat. Powered by Paywise. It's a Tesla powered by Paywise.
That's very good. Hey, Scotty, to let you know, you're not here, so I had to do some stuff myself. I spoke to Ryan Daniels for about 20 minutes a little while ago. That's coming up on the podcast. He told us, yeah, great. He told us where all the players are going. He told us where Liam Baker's going to end up, Shai Bolton, Tom Barrass, Tim English, all of them.
Tell me.
Well, you have to wait. I'm not going to spoil it because Ryan Daniels does it all. He had some good insight. The only thing he didn't know about was whether or not Andrew Brayshaw was going to be re-signing at the Fremantle Dockers.
Huge.
But
Ask his
luckily,
brother.
we do have his brother. What's going to happen there, Hammer?
He's leaving. No. I imagine I would put my house on the fact that he's staying. He
Great.
loves
Oh,
it.
wow.
He's going to be the captain with Caleb. They're probably going to be co-captains. And he's going to be there for their first flag.
Breaking news.
Breaking
Andrew
news.
Brayshaw
Without having spoken to him, he's re-signing and he's going to be the captain of the flag.
A new name that's just randomly popped up was Jack Graham. I don't know a lot about Jack
I
Graham.
heard he was like guaranteed a lock to come to West
Ryan
Coast.
Daniels came
He's
in
West
sizzling
Coast
with
best
that.
midfielder. He's their new best midfielder.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's got a Jaiden Hunt feel about it, where all of a sudden this name came out of nowhere and he's linked to West Coast, and that's been a great signing for West Coast. So who knows? Jack Graham
What's
could be one of our
crazy
best.
is like the media just like get a name and just push it, and it just somehow happens.
Yeah.
I'd like you to push tonight, Scully, that I'm entering the draft and Gold Coast are interested. Just get on the podcast tonight, get on the live, and just say Hamish Brayshaw's. I've heard that whispers circling. Circling that H. Brayshaw is going to the Gold Coast on a 5-year multi-mega deal. Because somehow it's got to start somewhere, mate.
I'll tell you what, I fucking might. I'm in the mood tonight. I'm in the mood for. Can you? I know we haven't spoken about this, but could you give me 3 words?
Love it.
To work
Used to do
into
this.
The broadcast
Used to do this all the time. So we used to do this at school footy at Haileybury. My captain Corey Rich. We used to do a thing where before, because the captain had to give a speech at the post match at every school you went to, and we would give him one word, and it was like some of the weird, like Ferris wheel.
Okay.
You'd have to work that in there. Geez, like it was It was a roundabout game. It was up and down like a Ferris wheel, which makes not a lot of sense, but he'd
round
work
and
it in
around
there.
like a Ferris wheel, mate.
Yeah, round and round.
let's send this straight to YouTube. We'll get one from YouTube. So one of the best ones.
I'd
on
like you to
YouTube.
work Ferris wheel in there tonight.
Ferris
if you
wheel.
could.
There you go. There's one.
Okay. Well, no, like you can throw some around and then confirm the best three, but I will say them. I guarantee I will say
Okay,
them.
so in YouTube comments, give us one.
Yeah.
We'll pick one from there. Hammer, what word you want Ferris wheel?
I
confirmed?
really love Ferris wheel. That's the only one that I remember Corey having to say, my captain having to say.
Yeah.
Ferris wheel. So figure that one in there somehow.
That's easy done. That's easy done.
Love it.
Give me a challenge. Nothing derogatory or
Floxy knocks in a
discriminatory.
hillipilification. It's the longest non-scientific word in the English dictionary.
Don't be a dickhead. Give me some good ones that'll be funny for me to work in. Can't even say that word.
Robert on YouTube said eggplant. Someone else said cataracts. Someone said Rumpelstiltskin. So there's some options.
I'd look. Can I pick one? I'd like to go Rumpelstiltskin. What is it?
Rumpelstiltskin. I'd like you to work in. I'll tell you what I'd love you to work in. I'd love you to work in season 2 Australian Idol winner Lee Harding.
Oh yes, wasabi.
Do you need the full? Do you need the?
No. Just Lee.
Like
Well, actually,
season
no,
2?
because Lee Harding, that's a footballer called Lee Harding, but spelled different.
What about wasabi?
No,
Because that's
Lee
wasabi.
Harding.
Yeah, Lee
I'll
Harding.
work in Lee Harding. Can I throw in a wasabi?
Yeah, throw in a
Can I
wasabi.
Okay, so Lee Harding wasabi.
I'll
and
give
then,
you Lee Harding wasabi.
Okay,
great.
I'll give you a Ferris wheel, and then what's the last
and then
one?
the YouTube boys will come up.
I've got here. I'm going to
YouTube
rattle
boys
off a
and
bunch
girls.
here.
Here we go.
Garlic bread, chamozzle, special, kumquat,
Kumquat's a good one.
Chuck Norris.
Jizz. Cirque. Mark Foreman and call him Cirque.
Moist.
No, we can't do so.
Moist.
Moist. It's a bit of a
You
disgusting.
No, we're not doing moist.
Colonoscopy is another one.
Yeah.
No, we're not
Skeet.
doing colonoscopy.
Skeet's coming on.
No.
Colonoscopy would be a tough one to work in there.
Fucking hell, he's gone in deep like a colonoscopy.
Yeah.
Well, there's a few options for you. We are going to have to end our chat with you soon, Will, because we do need to
Okay.
get to other things, and including Hammer and
I'm going
I
to get to the front row of the Pink concert.
are facing off in an Olympics quiz, thanks to Jaiden's put
Jaiden.
something together. So
Wow.
we will be going head to head on that. I'm sorry you can't be involved in that.
Look at this. This is a beautiful place today,
Wow.
ladies and gentlemen. Look at this.
Very nice.
Pretty beautiful.
Will Schofield out the front of the Optus Stadium ahead of West Coast Eagles v Gold Coast Suns. We've got a
Bro,
quiz
just
to
to
do.
confirm,
Yep.
before I leave,
Mhm.
Lee Harding, wasabi,
Yep. And I'd like you to
have-
also throw in there
Ferris wheel.
Stegosaurus.
Okay.
Okay.
My kids will like that, so
Yep.
that's good.
You've got some
Stegosaurus
options.
is obviously you're a big Stegosaurus guy.
Someone said titty beers. Someone else said washing machine, fillet of fish,
Titty
orangutan,
beers.
and soggy sayo.
Fillet of fish should be very fucking funny.
Titty beers.
Great.
So I forgot my pass to get in today, so I'm gonna have to talk my way through the door. So I'm gonna
Can
have
you
to
do
go.
that live? Do that live. Just keep on the pod.
Okay.
No, but I have to. My barcode is on the phone, so I have to get off this call. To
Yeah,
get the
no, get off,
barcode out.
get your face out of the way, but I still want to hear you.
Okay, hang on. Here we go.
We'll,
Wish me luck.
Also-
I'm
good
walking
luck.
in right
That's
now.
it.
You
Also-
guys can talk us through
also,
it.
while you're doing that, we will go through our TABtouch bet because we do have something that's happening tomorrow
Yeah,
that we
got
are
Scully's
getting
Mate,
online.
I've
Here we go.
I've got this one here. Great, perfect. Thank you.
Oh,
I'll
bang.
tell you what.
He's in.
I hope
Tell you
just go and ask him if
I'm
he
back.
consented to being live on the pod because your
Oh,
camera
sure.
didn't shut off and he was on there.
Yeah, camera's on the whole time. That's okay.
And there's like police cars coming in. I just flash my premiership medal. That usually gets me around here.
Yeah, that's
pretty well.
Yeah, nice. Jordan Goey in your pocket as well.
Yeah.
correct.
One
Okay,
more thing for you, Will. Actually, before we go,
Yeah.
I saw a news article written by the AFL which linked a ex-Collingwood player saying that Scott Pendlebury is the closest thing to Kobe Bryant that he's seen. Any thoughts on the Mamba
God.
mentality and Scott Pendlebury?
Mamba mentality, hey? I mean, what are we doing here? Seriously, like Scott, brilliant career, great player, time and space. We know everything about him, but like he's just been durable and lucky, and again, great player. But to play 400, you got to be lucky. That's
Got
why
to be real lucky.
he's never injured. He's never injured. He's consistent, and like he'll say that. I bet you if someone actually asked him, he'd
He's
say
also a
I've been
gun.
lucky as fuck.
Yeah, he's also very good.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's also
I
very
said
good.
that. I said that 5 times. So
yep.
feel free to take that out of context and say that I think Scott Pendlebury's a shit player and he's lucky to get there.
All right, Will. Thank
See
you,
you,
mate.
mate.
Enjoy Pink concert.
I'll see you at the sausage. I'll see you at the party pie stand.
What's your favourite Pink song, Hammer?
Rockstar, probably.
Rockstar.
Nah, I think Raise Your Glass.
Funhouse.
Raise Your Glass.
You like Funhouse.
I
know
do
you
love Funhouse. It used to be
Okay, so I've
a
got Stegosaurus. I've
Ferris
got,
wheel.
I've got Ferris
and Lee
wheel.
Harding
I've got
Wasabi.
Lee Harding with Wasabi. Oh boy. Okay. Wish me that.
All the best. See you, mate.
All right, thanks, Scott. There you go. Will Schofield live from Optus Stadium.
I'd love
West Coast
if
Eagles.
I'd love if anyone is watching the game tonight
Yes.
and is watching the Fox Footy broadcast. If they hear Scully say that,
Yep.
can we get like a recording
please.
of it, please?
Yep, absolutely.
That would be great. Send in the
that'd be very good.
recordings of Ferris Wheel, Stegosaurus, and Lee Harding Wasabi. Which one will be the hardest for him to work in?
Stegosaurus.
Stegosaurus doesn't have any football context whatsoever.
Wasabi, like he's hot like wasabi, you know. I'm
just trying to think if I'm off the cuff, how am I going to work them in? Like Stegosaurus, you could maybe say the ground looks like it's been like ripped
Trampled
up,
by
trampled by a pack of Stegosauruses.
Or like someone takes a big mark, you know, I don't know, he climbed like he's on the back of I don't know.
Yeah, he's sitting on the back of a Stegosaurus or
Ferris
something.
wheel, it's been going around like a Ferris wheel. That seems like
But that's only if the game's tight. Like
Yeah,
if it's a one-way pantsing, it's tough to have a straight Ferris wheel. Or maybe like, it's like this is a downhill. This is downhill like a Ferris wheel rolling down a hill or something. You seen that on the movies? What movie is that?
Oh yeah, where it
where
gets
the
off
Ferris
the thing.
wheel gets off the thing and rolls
Yeah,
down a hill.
okay.
And then Lee Harding Wasabi is going to be a tough one.
Lee Harding.
Or you might say something like, have you heard the AFL Grand Final? They're thinking about bringing Australian Idol runner-up in 2013, Lee Harding.
I'm just glad that we're not in charge of saying these words because I would have no
That
hope.
is very funny.
So just to reiterate, West Coast played Gold Coast tonight at 6:30. Then they have North Melbourne next week in Hobart. They lose that. West Coast can't win in Hobart.
No, I don't think
they couldn't beat the West Coast Waffle team in Hobart right now. The West Coast Eagles then take on Carlton.
I don't think they win that game.
That's at home at Optus, so I don't think they win that. And then, for some reason, I don't know why the West Coast Eagles have to do this every single year. They play Geelong in round 24. They ain't winning that game.
That's going to be tough.
So
this is their last real chance.
To not... Well, you know what? It doesn't really matter now. If you win a game, that's just nice, but you'd rather probably lose them and get a better top pick.
You'd honestly rather lose them all and hope that Richmond and North get above you somehow.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway,
but just for pride.
Just for pride's sake.
Now, tomorrow, the Geelong Cats take on the Adelaide Crows. We are getting behind one of these teams for the TABtouch. Actually, can you give us a little sting?
You've got the touch. You've got the power.
Yeah. Thanks to TABtouch, of course. We are backing the backman.
Yeah, we are.
Thanks to, of course, the JBS method.
Thank you very much to the Jack Buckley algorithm.
We did so many times this bet wrong and just lost on it. We've had a little bit of success.
Yep, just once.
Because of the JBS, and I
Heaps
think
of
it's
success.
time again.
I do think it's time again. So I've run the numbers, I've done the calculations, and it was pretty straightforward.
Yes.
To be honest, like it was pretty clear cut. The best defense from last week was the mighty Geelong Cats.
Yeah, great defenders.
They're great defenders, and they're going again this week.
Great.
Tom Stewart's back. Is he playing? I think he is. He's a pretty good player. DeConning's down there, spoiling the house down. Jack Henry, okay. Intercept marks, spoils, defensive half press racks. What do you want? He's just a star.
Yep.
So they will be very hard to beat down there. They're playing
Adelaide.
Are they playing at home? Because I think they played North in Tassie last week, so I think they're at home v Adelaide. You've got to deal with Riley Filthorpe, who is enormous.
Yep.
He's a giant of a human being. The Foghorn, also very big.
Those stovepipe.
Those massive quads.
Yep.
I don't see anyone else kicking 3 goals. I think they're your 2. If you can lock them away, the Smalls aren't kicking 3. Ben Keys, unless he plays like Superman again, good luck.
Easy.
I just don't think they'll get the job done. So Geelong to keep Adelaide's forwards to 2 goals or less.
Yep.
If you have the TABtouch app, you can download. If you don't have it, download it because it's a pretty good one. But find yourself to the sports section. Find yourself in the exclusives. All of a sudden, you might see a little BackChat bet on there. There's a little something going on. I can't say much more than that.
No.
I don't need to say much more than that.
You
do your own research. Do your own due diligence.
That's correct.
But I've done the due diligence on your part with the JBS.
Great. So the game's at 2:35 tomorrow, so there's plenty of
much time
to get around that. So that's, you got 12 hours or so. What's gambling costing you? For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858. Hammer, should we do a little quiz?
Yeah, let's do an Olympic quiz.
Okay. There is a quiz with Olympics questions.
I hope there's a question
Quiz.
about archery. My favourite sport. I've been loving the Olympics.
Yeah, it's so
I've
good.
been.
Okay, I don't
Shout
know
out
if
to the
we're
Olympics.
not meant to like promote other like media organisations. Like, we can do whatever we want, but Channel 9 has just done a very good job.
Well,
Go onto the website, 9 Live.
it's your only option.
Yes, yeah. Well,
Unless you're being
other
there.
than Stan.
Well, yeah, you can do
but
Stan.
It's basically Stan. It's so easy to watch all the sports.
They have done a great job. It's the only way to watch it unless you are either on Stan or in person in Paris.
Or you want a VPN and watch NBC.
Yeah, you could do it that way. But look, I think the way that the Olympics is set up over there, every sport, just at the click of a button, it's really, really good. Now, I've been loving the Aussies. Happy to watch any Australian do anything. It's really, really cool.
Yep.
But I've also been loving just watching all sorts of things that I would not normally watch. Now, we've converted to archery. It's now our favourite sport.
So good.
No question about it.
I've got it. Did you get the video I sent you where it shows the distance?
Yeah,
The
that's
side
cool.
on.
The side on.
Oh my gosh, and how small the target is.
It's tiny.
It is crazy.
It's like it's a lot more impressive than you can see from just the first look at it. Trap shooting I watched, which was exceptional.
Yep.
Like that was really good. I watched the handball last night. That was great. Water polo is a brutal sport. Mountain biking is just fucked. BMX is awesome. Gymnastics I watched the other day, which is
Simone
like
Biles, just incredible.
she's a
I used
star.
to dislike her just because I think she was so good. Now it's just like, respect the greatness of it.
I saw Simone, but there was something about Simone Biles. She wasn't on the TV, but the gymnastics is set up. There's all the disciplines around, and the team gymnastics is like the judges are watching one person do something while there's other things going on.
Right.
And there was this girl, this Chinese woman on the beam. No, actually, she was a girl. She was 16. She's on the beam, and she's meant to be a very good beam athlete, and fell off. And like at the same time, you could tell Simone Biles had walked out from underneath. Because the American contingent behind this Chinese girl, it timed it perfectly that when she fell off, the Americans all stood up and started cheering. And I was like, how do you... I mean, obviously they're very focused and dedicated and it's 4 years and you have one thing.
Yes.
And they're hyper dialed in. That's tough to block the noise out.
I
Like
know.
you are... you've fallen off, your Olympic dream is all but shattered and everyone's cheering the shit out of Simone Biles coming back out.
The Chinese team of various sports have copped it a little bit over the Olympics from people calling them cheats.
Yep.
Obviously that. But the Chinese synchronized diving team, did you see those two women dive?
I haven't seen them.
Oh my goodness.
Impressive.
It looks like there's a side-on view. It looks like there is one person diving.
That's the whole aim of
It's
synchronized
incredible.
diving, isn't it?
Just, and there's no splash. They're just incredible athletes. I don't know if any of that's going to be covered in the quiz. Can we just welcome?
Yeah, this is the hardest quiz ever.
But no. Jaiden, you got a mic back there, mate?
I do.
Oh, there we go.
Hey, Jaiden,
welcome,
how are you,
welcome,
mate?
Yeah,
Jaiden.
good. Thanks, boys. How are you?
I know
I'm
that
good.
I'm here all day. I don't want you to think that I was involved in.
No,
playing
I
this
don't think
quiz.
that in the
I don't know
slightest.
anything. So Jaiden's going to take it away. Are we going to go with names as buzzers because that's exciting?
Yeah, that's easier.
Dan.
I will hammer. I'm going to preface the start of this quiz by I really hope there's not a lot of individual names in this.
Okay.
Because I don't know the athletes' names that well.
Yeah, that's fine.
I know Jess Fox. I know Simone Biles. We've spoken about them. But I'm a purist of the sport.
Okay.
Not really, but I just like this. Anyway, we'll see how we go. We'll roll it
I
out.
have
How
no-
many
no
questions
clue.
we got, Jaiden?
We got 10
Okay.
and a tiebreaker.
Yeah, we won't need it.
Well,
Unless it's 0-0.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Let's
Do we have
hit
any-
it,
do we
hit
have
it,
any-
Damon. Okay, good.
how many gold medals has Australia won so far?
Dan.
Hammer. Ooh, that was Dan.
Oh, it's Dan.
7?
No.
13.
8.
How many medals have we won in total? I think that might be what
25?
I'm thinking. No, anyway, just throw out the stumps. Continue.
Name the 3 disciplines Australia has won gold in.
Dan. Swimming. Canoeing.
That would be 2 of them.
Nah.
Well, I'm going to say hammer and
Yep.
just jump on the back of it. Swimming, canoeing, and we didn't win the BMX. That guy, Logan, didn't get the job done. Hockey's still going.
We'll go 5, 4, 3, 2.
Skateboarding.
Cycling. Road cycling.
Of
there
course,
you
she
go.
won early. That's like the first one, right?
First medal.
Damn.
Okay.
Okay.
How many concurrent years has the Republic of Korea won the women's archery?
Dan. 44.
Incorrect.
So it's been.
So it's the years that the Olympics has been going. So it's
Yeah.
not like 44 since.
So it was 1988 was the first one. So if we can work back, 98 is 10 years, 08 is 20 years, 18 is 30 years, 36 years.
Well, they're 10.
Oh,
They've won. It's been active 10 times.
oh well, how many years? That's
You
not the
said
question.
years. You
You
said
said
how many
how many?
Olympics.
I may have done that wrong.
How many years? Okay, I think I'm right.
Sorry, I meant to say how many concurrent medals, like how many.
Okay, well, I would have said hammer
yeah.
10, obviously.
Well, obviously.
Hang on, let's just do that. 1988, 92, 96, 2000, 2004, 2008, 2012, 2016, 2020, 2024. That's me.
2021 technically, but
Yeah, but that's me. I would have got
Yeah.
that right. 10, hammer.
Yeah, we'll go hammer.
Thank you. That's 1-0. Wow.
How many world records does Australia hold in swimming?
Hammer. 6.
No.
Dan. 1.
No. 5.
Oh,
So close.
I just that's a throw at the stumps. A genuine throw at the stumps. It's 1-0.
That's good. It was very good.
Thanks.
In the women's park BMX freestyle, where did Australia place?
Hammer, 4th.
No.
Dan. 7th.
Bronze medal, boys.
Oh, see, I was close. You just got to be
It's 1-0.
confident.
How many questions were we on?
You got to be confident. That's all right. We're a big Olympic nuffies here.
Here we go. How many Olympics has Jess Fox competed in?
Dan. 3.
No.
Hammer, 4.
4 is
Yes!
correct.
Yes!
4 felt wrong for some reason.
Yeah,
I knew it was
right.
4.
She was a London.
I know.
She was London.
We got a bonus with this one. What medal did she receive in each of those years?
Hammer, silver.
Silver's correct.
Come
for the first one.
on, 3-0. I'm shitting on you.
No,
You,
at the moment.
you gotta go the next ones.
Oh yeah, that's all right. What's the?
No, you gotta
12,
give us
16,
the...
20,
Oh, sorry.
24.
She got a silver in 12. She got a bronze in 16, and she went gold. But she also got a silver in 16 too. Sorry, and by 16 I mean 21. Confusing. Silver,
So you
bronze, silver, bronze, silver and gold, gold.
Silver, bronze, gold.
She won a silver in 2012.
12.
Yeah.
This is for the K1.
Jaiden. All right, whatever.
Yeah.
Here we go. This is a BackChat one. Who was the 18-year-old who competed for Australia in the 100-meter women's backstroke final?
Dan. Iron Anderson.
Correct. Who is the current world record holder in the women's 200-meter freestyle?
Hamish.
Go.
Emma McEwen.
No.
Dan.
Yep.
Ledecky.
Ariane Titmus.
Ariane Titmus.
Oh.
What is McEwen? What's McEwen? She's another swimming discipline, isn't she?
Could be.
She definitely is.
She did breaststroke?
She did another swimming discipline.
What event do Australia's Curtis Marshall and Nina Kennedy compete in?
Dan.
Hamish. Oh, that was you.
Pole vault.
Yeah.
Pole vault is correct. Tied up, boys. Last question before the tiebreaker.
Oh.
Wow. Okay. This is all of a sudden a good quiz.
Who is the current world record holder in the women's 200-meter backstroke?
Hamish. Emma McEwen.
Emma McEwen.
Come on. There it was. I knew
Not-
she was one of them.
You're wrong, mate.
Is it?
It's not Emma
Oh,
McEwen.
wow, okay.
Sorry.
Didn't you say yes?
Dan.
Let me Google what Emma McEwen's discipline is.
Sorry, mate.
That's all right.
Uh,
She's an 8-time world record holder.
no, I don't know. I actually don't know.
Kaylee McEwen,
The sister?
the sister.
You sure?
Okay. So
Are you sure?
Are we going to a tiebreaker?
200-meter backstroke world record holder. Just pad for a second.
Okay.
Let's keep going.
Backstroke world-
We've got Ryan Daniels
We gotta-
straight after this.
We got a tiebreak question, so it's all good.
Yep. Keep going.
I
It
really
is
hope
Kaylee.
I'm not
It is
wrong
Kaylee.
on this.
It's
It is Kaylee. Sweet.
Okay, great.
Awesome.
Devastating for me.
All right, this is it.
All right, this is it. The final question. With a gold medal in the 2024 Paris Olympics, name the athlete who now holds the Australian record for most gold medals held
Hammer.
by an individual.
Jess Fox.
Wrong.
What? I swear I saw that today somewhere.
Dan.
Go.
Ariana Titmus.
Incorrect.
Is it Katie McEwen? Is it Emma
It's
McEwen?
Emma McEwen.
Yes!
Sorry, you can
I'll
have it.
take Emma
You
McEwen.
can-
I've
you
said
can
it
have
3 times. I have been seeing some incorrect facts on my computer then.
Yeah, you have.
I feel like
you've
things
seen
are
a few.
I feel like things are just coming at me in a blur. Nah, that was a great quiz. Really
so,
like that.
So Jordan on YouTube said they are not related.
They're not related, but they're both swimmers called McEwen.
Yeah. How would you be? I don't know if Jordan's just stitching
I
us
think
up.
Jordan, that's another fault. That's fake news. Jordan, that's fake news. Let's fact check that.
Okay, so here we go.
They are not related.
Wow, there you go. The sister.
That is just phenomenal. Tell you what, speaking of phenomenal, and this has got nothing to do with the Olympics, I saw a thing today from Sir Swamp Thing. It was actually a couple of days ago.
Yep.
Alistair Clarkson became the first coach to coach twin losses in the same season. He coached versus Brad Scott against Essendon. He went, it was 10-6-66, played whatever it was, 106.
Mm-hmm.
They lost.
Yep.
The exact same score line, exact same goals and points, 66 to 106. They lost to Chris Scott and then Brad Scott in the same year. It was like, what a random fact.
How did he look into that?
I don't know, but there you go. That's fact checking.
That's a great one
I
from
still
Sir
don't
Swamp.
believe that the McEwens aren't related.
Well, no, I think Jaiden looked
Yeah, I
up.
know he looked it up, but I don't believe it.
Now, Hammer, there's a lot of names that have been circulating
Heaps of names.
in the West. Are they coming here?
Hang
Are
on,
they
Dan,
leaving
sorry,
here?
mate.
Oh,
Before
yeah.
we go, I've got one more thing for you. We were talking about this before. How do you think the canoeists, kayakers sit?
Oh yeah, knees down. They fold. They sit on their knees like they're
Yeah,
like
that's
praying.
that's what I think too.
Yeah, like
on their
they're
knees.
praying. Yep, there you go. Look at that.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
That's
Is
not
that a
what you
conveyor belt?
thought, Dan.
No, I actually thought they'd be doing these ones.
What is that? A conveyor belt for the
Look, canoe belt.
a canoe belt.
Yep.
That would be a hard sport, wouldn't it? Like
Yeah,
a really difficult sport.
The core strength is insane. The way
Yep.
that they can go against the water. There you go. A lot of names, like I said, going to and from Western Australia.
Yeah.
Richmond players.
I've heard
Western
that
Bulldogs,
Hamish
Hawks.
Brayshaw guy's going to Gold Coast.
Hamish Brayshaw maybe
on a
at the Gold
5-year
Coast.
mega deal, actually, I've heard them whisper. I've
$1
heard
million
whispers of
bucks.
that. $1
Just
million.
throwing them at him.
$1 million a year for 5 years. That's what I've heard.
The man in Perth who knows all of the answers about where these players are going,
The Rhino.
contract situations, Ryan Daniels from Channel 7, spoke to him a little bit earlier, thanks to ID Athletic, of course, where we get our merch. We're releasing a new line, Hammer, of stuff. Wow. There may be something to put on your feet. There
That's
may be something to
crazy.
put on your head.
We have said before that if you need anything, go
Yes.
to ID Athletic.
Go
Not
to
even
ID
like
Athletic.
anything.
Absolutely anything.
Literally anything.
Rock
If you
up
don't
at
know
their
what,
door.
if you've got prescription glasses and you need to change,
Yep.
go to ID Athletic.
Your car battery dies,
Go to ID Athletic.
Push it to
if
ID
you want to know
Athletic.
how best to prune a bonsai tree, go to ID Athletic.
all of that, thanks to
All
ID
of that
Athletic.
and
And
more.
Ryan Daniels, of course. Let's hear from Rhino where players are going. All right, of course, thanks to ID Athletic, we are crossing straight to the source. Perth's very own Adrian Wojnarowski, Ryan Daniels, coming in with some Wodge bombs. Hopefully, Ryan, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, Dan. How you going? It's been a busy week.
Yeah, very busy. I'm seeing your face come up a lot on Twitter, which is nice, with a lot of news. Not all great for me as a West Coast fan because, it seems to be a lot going on at this time of year for us. First things first, Olympics. Let's just talk a little bit about that for a second. I assume you're not, you're not in Paris, but I assume you're keeping your eye on things.
Yeah, to a degree. I mean, it's hard to stay across everything. Try to hit, like most people, I just try to hit the events that matter the most, watching a bit of swimming, trying to watch the Boomers, trying to watch the Opals, the Kookaburras, Hockeyroos, all the big stuff.
Yep.
And my kids are sort of at the age now where they're getting into it. So, like, I'll come around the corner and they're watching, like, BMX or, skateboarding or gymnastics. My daughter loves the gymnastics. So I kind of like that part of the Olympics where you find yourself watching random stuff that you normally wouldn't watch. So, it's I try to sort of, because I'm not there and we don't have the rights, I can sort of watch it as more of a spectator, which is nice.
Yeah, sure. I don't even know if we're allowed to talk about the Olympics, given that you work for Channel 7.
Me neither.
That's all right. Well, let's move into sort of your backyard then with some footy. First things first. So it seems like, I don't know if every player in the Richmond list wants out of Richmond at the moment or wants to come to Western Australia or something. So can we talk about a few names? So there's a few here. I'll list them out for you. Shai Bolton, Liam Baker, Jack Graham, that just came out of nowhere. That was a bit of a rye bomb there. I don't know what you're calling them. And obviously Daniel Rioli apparently linked to Gold Coast. What can you tell us about these guys? A few of them heading over our way.
Yeah, look, I don't know too much about the Daniel Rioli situation. I tend to focus all my attention on the local clubs because keeps me busy enough. Like, so he won't be coming over here, but you do hear that he's going to the Gold Coast Suns, and it makes a bit of sense, I suppose, for everybody involved. On those other guys, they're all very different situations. So Jack Graham, I wouldn't say he's a fringe player, but he's probably in that sort of 14 to 23 player range at Richmond. A good player. It's a similar situation to the Jaiden Hunt situation for me. Like West Coast got Jaiden Hunt for basically for free. He comes over and he's been a really nice pickup for them. The Eagles identified a while back that the middle part of their list, and I mean that by age, not by skill, their middle part is actually their weakest part. They have a lot of young kids. They had a lot of older guys, and they didn't have a lot of players in that sort of 25 to 28 range. So hence going after a Jaiden Hunt, hence going after a Matt Flynn, and now looking at guys like Jack Graham where they can go, right, this guy who will play in our team, mature body, can bridge the gap between the old and the new, and won't cost a lot. So it's a smart pickup. It's one of those sort of Moneyball type pickups, if you will. Yeah. So I like the pickup. I think at this point it would have to be something very surprising to see him not turn up at West Coast. Like as I said yesterday, I think it'll happen. It's just a matter of getting it all sorted out. And he's an unrestricted free agent, so West Coast don't have to trade for him. Richmond would end up getting some sort of compensation back, depending on a number of factors, which that mystery concoction of formula that the AFL have, no one really understands.
Yeah, that obviously just mostly benefits the Kangaroos mostly, but apart from that, no one else knows what's going on.
Yeah, as it did last year. Liam Baker's a fascinating one. So I wrote something a few weeks ago about him, and not much has changed. So he's got a decision between three clubs. There's Richmond, which is where his heart is because, he's in the leadership group. He's won premierships there. He loves Richmond. They gave him his start. This is the kid who wasn't highly rated coming out, but he's been a wonderful pickup for them, and it's changed his life. So you can understand where the pull would be to stay there. Then there's the two clubs here. So West Coast he supported as a kid. Dream was to always play for the West Coast Eagles, running around at Auskick and all that. And then there's the Fremantle Dockers, who are, I think everybody could agree here, are on the precipice of something special. That they're entering a window of probably 4 to 5 years where they're going to be genuine premiership contenders. And Liam Baker, from all accounts, likes to win. He's a very competitive guy. So he's got a tough decision to make. The money isn't really the issue. I think Richmond will probably pay him a little bit more to stay because they know that the pull to come home is real. I think West Coast's offer might be slightly above Fremantle's from a financial sense, but the Dockers have the ability to say, hey, come play with us and you might win some more flags. We think we're in the zone here. So up until yesterday, he still hadn't made his mind up. Some players struggle with the possibility of having to going to work, knowing they're leaving. I think Liam Baker's one of those guys. We talked about that loyalty. So him having to decide in his head that he's going to West Coast or Fremantle and then going to Richmond and pretend everything's fine, maybe he can't do that. They can't separate the two. So he might be one that, once the season's done, he's got some clear air and he can go, right, okay, I'm staying or I'm going, and where am I going? If I had to guess, I don't like guessing, but if I had to make an educated opinion, I would say he'll come back to WA. And I would say the more likely of the two is probably slightly West Coast, but it's line ball. And I'm hoping to get more info on that in the next probably couple of weeks once things settle down a bit.
Let's go straight to then something that sounds very, very similar in Tom Barrass. Obviously, a lot has been covered over him. Maybe in the last year and a half. Obviously, there was the stuff with Sydney. Then that seemed to be all settled down, committed to West Coast. And then the Western Bulldogs being thrown around. Now Hawthorn, Sam Mitchell, sneaky squirrel meetings over here in WA. What's your latest on that? What's your thoughts on what would happen?
Yeah, it's a complicated situation, and I say complicated because this really we shouldn't really be here. If you've got a player who's a vice captain of the club, 3 years to go on the contract, in form, premiership player, there's a lot of reasons that stack up as to why Tom Barrass really shouldn't be going anywhere. What I think has happened here is there's been some miscommunication. There's been some breakdown in negotiation where Tom feels that maybe things haven't gone the way they were supposed to go. And I talk about there's a couple of specific things with the West Coast Eagles, the way they do contracts. I don't want to get too deep into it, but a lot of clubs, when the CBA increases and it goes up, say 15, 20%, whatever it is on the new CBA, with more money coming in from broadcast rights and all these things, a lot of clubs attach a percentage increase to that. So, if there's more money coming in, the salary cap goes up, everybody gets a little bit more money.
Yep.
West Coast don't typically do that, or in that era, they typically didn't do that. So as more people are earning more money, as other defenders who maybe aren't as good as Tom Barrass are earning more money around the AFL, his salary is staying the same, and I would say, he's fairly underpaid at this stage. I think people assume these guys are all on 800-900 a year, $1 million a year. He's not on that. And I think there was an understanding from the way I see it, that he was probably talked to and said, hey, yeah, we'll fix this up. That took a long time to come. And when it got to that point, it wasn't fixed up in the way that he thought it was going to be fixed up. So now I think we're at a standoff where if all things were going right, I think Tom Barrass would stay at the West Coast Eagles and he'd want to stay at the West Coast Eagles. I think the way we're seeing it now is that Tom is open to leaving. There are clubs that are lining up to get him. And I think the West Coast Eagles are coming around to the idea that, hey, this is our best asset. This is the guy that we can move. If we have to move him, we will get a first-round pick in exchange. They don't have a lot of players like that. The other two would be Harley Reid and Oscar Allen. And, ideally they'd keep all three of those guys. But if you have to move one, Tom's the oldest of the three.
Yep.
There's interest in him from rival clubs. So it makes a lot of sense. I actually think at the end of the day, this will probably work out best for everybody. And I would say it's probably 90% that he's going. I'd be surprised now if he's at West Coast next year. That could happen. I wrote today something that'll be in the paper tomorrow about the new coach for the Eagles. Maybe that can pivot things. Maybe there's an about face just at the last minute. These things can change. But the winds are blowing to Tom Barrass playing somewhere else. And I would say Hawthorn would be leading the race for that.
I thought he was all but gone when the Sydney stuff was happening, and then he stayed. So who knows?
Yeah.
Things can happen last minute. I do want to talk about the West Coast coach, but while we're just on players, can we just go through a couple more that are related to the West Coast Eagles? Jake Waterman, name being thrown around for Melbourne, Geelong, seeking obviously a bigger. He's performed incredibly well this year and wants to be paid for that. Anything recent on that one for us?
Yeah, I think he'll be at West Coast. Look, I think there's always going to be interest in a player when they, suddenly jump out of nowhere like Jake has. When he signed his deal, he was not this player.
Yeah,
this is a breakout season, well and truly. So he's now worth a lot more than he was when he signed. Now, I suppose you could sit back and say, well, that's the game. You might have also underperformed at times, and maybe you were getting overpaid at those times. It's swings and roundabouts, but when there are other clubs coming, you're only as good as the market demand will dictate. So I think what will happen is at the end of the year, West Coast will go to Jake and they'll say, hey, we'll restructure this. We'll extend the deal a little bit. We'll give you a little bit more money and he'll stay. And there was a little bit of drama about it the other day. We spoke to Jake that day and he said, I want to be at West Coast. I absolutely do. We'll deal with it at the end of the year. So I think the drama's probably less dialed up on that one. The one I forgot to talk about before was Shai Bolton.
Yes, sorry. Yeah.
We were talking about Richmond. So Shai's, again, a complicated one. So Shai's got a young family. He's got one little baby. He's got another one that's on the way. Him and his wife or his partner are young. They need support. We've all, anyone who's got young kids knows that you really do need that support network, whether it be your parents or in-laws or brothers, sisters, siblings, you need the help. So I think that's part of the draw or the main draw to get him back here. He's got a 4-year deal. So there were some reports that Fremantle had targeted Shai Bolton and they were desperate to get him over. My understanding is that's not what happened. It wasn't until the last few weeks where Shai has then gone to Fremantle and to West Coast and said, hey, how about it? I'm pretty keen to get back here. Would you guys work with Richmond to get something done? My understanding is that they were like, oh, yeah, this is interesting. We do like you, Shai Bolton, but we're not going to be the ones pushing this. You're under contract, all of this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
We'll work through it and see where we end up. Richmond are digging their heels in. They want to keep him. He's got 4 years left on his deal. He's probably he is their best player. And there's also the element too where, and we've seen this before, where players want to go home. They need the support. clubs have worked out ways to throw support around them.
Yeah.
Lockie Neal, famously, even his wife Jules wanted to come back here.
You know about that?
I do know about that. Managed to put a bunch of layers around Lockie and Jules and keep them really happy up in Brisbane and support them. Who's to say that Richmond can't find a way to do that?
Yeah.
That one's going to be difficult to make happen. And I think both WA clubs will be very wary that to get Shai Bolton, you would have to overpay because of that 4-year contract. So it would cost a lot. And in Fremantle's case, there are a number of players they're interested in. And if you put Chad Warner, for instance, on the list, it's going to cost a lot to get him too. So you can't have everybody all the time.
Yeah. As a West Coast fan, it just feels like over the space of, I don't know, the last 10, 15 years, West Coast have always had the upper hand with this. Now it feels like Freo have all the, they're the better team. It seems like they've got a bit of money to splash around. So, look, we'll see what happens with that. If Shai Bolton ends up on the Freo Dockers, that was a very deadly combination. So some other West Coast stuff, we'll just start rapid firing through them so you can maybe go have a bit more of a nap if you need that. Harry Edwards, right? So this man he's had a pretty, I'd say a rough spell in that he's lost 27 or 28 games in a row. That can't be enjoyable, but he has played well more recently, and he could be potentially that person that comes in for Tom Barrass if he does go. But now there's talk around other clubs being interested in him. Is that just part and parcel of a young guy that, teams are just circling people that could have an impact?
Absolutely. So clubs look around and they go, right, who's out of contract? What's their age? What's their position? What do we need? There's clubs on the Eastern Seaboard who are going, right, we need young key defenders. Who's available? And if you can get someone that's already done a little bit of an apprenticeship, like Harry Edwards has, right? He's got 30-odd games that he's played now. He's spent a few years on a list. He's put on a bit of size.
Yeah.
And he's been learning off Jeremy McGovern and Tom Barrass and, Will Schofield. So you've got guys that have put a lot of work into him. He's got some value. Now, look, I think with Edwards, there was a bit of a drag on, him getting a new contract this year in terms of West Coast coming to the party. They now have an offer for him, but in the meantime, there's other clubs that have registered their interest. So, look, if I had to bet on it, I'd say he'll be at West Coast next year, but there is other interest genuinely. Melbourne's one of those clubs, and there's a couple other that aren't in Victoria that are interested in him too. So it's a good thing for Harry Edwards, and I like this kid. I think he can be something. Keybacks take a while.
Yeah.
Often they can look like they're out of sorts, and they can look like they fumbly and they're big giraffes. But once it all comes together, it kind of tends to just click. And we've seen that over and over and over again with key defenders.
Yes.
So I think the patience is the main thing. And as you said, if Barrass goes, I mean, he'll be starting as a key back every game for West Coast next year.
Yeah.
So he's an important piece of the puzzle.
I remember being filthy at West Coast when they used to pick Darren Glass, like early days, because he was that fumbly, unreliable, and then became one of our greatest backs of all time. So you're right, they do take time. Let's finish with, I'm going to ask Hammer, who will be who's here, but obviously we're recording this a bit earlier, about Andrew Brayshaw. I saw for the first time someone even mention his name and contract discussions. Obviously that was a tweet of yours, and again it'd be silly for Fremantle not to do everything they possibly could to keep him around. And it doesn't seem like he would be someone that would be looking to leave the club.
Yeah, well, I mean, Hammer's probably going to know more than I will.
Yeah.
But I'll give you what I checked in on it yesterday, because when Tracy signed, and when anyone signs in Freo, they've got this great list now where they go, right, until 2030, and I keep putting it out every time someone signs. And
it's crazy.
They are stacked. All their key players are getting locked in on long-term deals. They're giving themselves a 4 to 5 year window, which is what Simon Garlick keeps talking about. And the one name that is still missing off that, because the list I do is from 2026 onwards, is Andy, because he comes out at the end of 2025. So I just made an inquiry. Hey, is this going to happen soon? And what I got was that no one's concerned about it. Yep. Andy loves the Dockers. They love Andy. He's as invested as anybody on that list in the future of Fremantle. But right now, their entire focus is on, let's win the last 4 games. Let's try to win a premiership. Like, they're in the contract stuff has to go on hold for a little bit. But I don't think there's any doubt at this stage in anyone's mind that that marriage will continue. So, which is a great thing for Fremantle people. But of course, until you get the signature,
Yeah, that's true.
there's always going to be a little bit of nervousness. But I think it's in a pretty good place. And and Andy's a special player. His form the last 3 weeks has just been, as good as any midfielder in the comp.
Absolutely. All right, last one for you before we wrap up. Who's going to be the West Coast Eagles coach next season?
Yeah, I don't know. Look, I think they've started the process. We've all heard that, Dean Cox not interested, Nathan Buckley not interested, Josh Carr, I'm not even sure West Coast are interested, but he's not interested either.
Just want to let you know, I'm not interested. Haven't talked to me, but I'm just going to also break that news right here and now that I'm not interested in the coaching position.
Yeah, correct. That's kind of like a 20-year-old me saying, "Sorry, Mila Kunis, I'm not interested. If you're interested, I'm not interested." I don't know how it's going to go. There's a few names that are obviously in contention. Ashley Hansen keeps getting brought up. He's done the apprenticeship. He's got the West Coast links. He's highly respected. Been at 2 different clubs other than West Coast as well. Danny Daly is the one that Xavier Ellis mentioned that he thinks is a good shout. I know that Scully's mentioned Adrian Hickmott, who's a great teacher and a great motivator. Ken Hinkley's been thrown into the mix. I'm not sure about that one, but hey, he's got a proven record as a teacher. The one that I think shouldn't be getting overlooked is Jared Schofield. I think he's done quite a lot right in the short time that he's been there. The St Kilda game was not great. West Coast have been prone to that kind of performance the last 3 years. But he's also ticked a lot of boxes. The Brisbane game was impressive, the effort and the energy. The Derby was quite impressive, the same. And there were comments made by him post-Derby about Harley Reid. And I know for a fact there were multiple significant figures at West Coast who were impressed by that. Wow. The way he handled it, the way he spoke about Harley, the way he spoke about his players. It's not to say that Adam Simpson wasn't doing that. Of course Adam was doing that. But to see Jared be able to do that so early in his coaching stint, I wouldn't rule him out. I would say that he's put himself in the conversation to at least be considered. So if I had to pick a favourite, I'd say it's probably the same as everybody else, which is Ash Hansen or a Jamie Graham. But I wouldn't rule out a Jared Schofield.
Or at least maybe putting himself in a position to be heavily considered for a future head coaching position. Maybe not at West Coast, but he's probably doing everything right now to secure some sort of long-term coaching future.
100%.
So that's great. Ryan, thank you so much, mate. Appreciate you waking up from your slumber to head out and chat to us on BackChat. We'll catch up with you again soon. Maybe once the footy season's finished, we'll get a bit of an update on some contract stuff. But Tim English, there's so many other names that are being floated around that affect the Western Australian clubs. So we'll keep our eye on your Twitter feed and check in with you soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Dan. See you, mate.
See ya.
Hi, I'm Will, and I'm a backman.
And I'm Gov, and I'm a Paywise brand ambassador.
And you're a backman?
Yes, I am, but I'm also a Paywise brand ambassador. And I know that the best way to get into your next car is through the Paywise novated lease.
To learn more about novated leasing, contact Paywise today or just ask Jeremy McGovern.
That's not Jeremy McGovern. Same joke every time. That's me. That is us for BackChat for Friday. It is the 2nd of August. The West Coast Eagles have their last chance, I believe, of winning a game against the Gold Coast Suns here in Perth. Go watch that. Maybe you're going to the game or you're watching it at the Kingsley Tavern like I am, because that's where I'm going. Not a great place, but it's a beer. I will see you on Monday. We will be back. Hammer will be back. Everyone else will be back. Enjoy also Western Bulldogs v Melbourne. Let's have a look. Quick score check. Footscray, sorry, not Western Bulldogs. Footscray 16, Melbourne 0. See you Monday.